Hi again, Doug here from X-Frames FPV. Well, today we got a review for you. The review is on the Ummagawd remix. This is from Tommy from Rotor-Riot, and he has put, you can tell, a lot of thought into this drone and with everything laid out the way it is. And so we're going to get to the tabletop and take a look at it and kind of see what the components are that we put into it and kind of some of the differences. Obviously, you can see it's kind of a little bit of a different layout, and we've got just a little bit of flight footage. So let's get to the tabletop. Now, you know, my son's kind of doing something where he really wanted to make his way through all the new components and frames. So what we're doing is we're building stuff up, and then he's just selling it and then going to build stuff. So he'll be doing, you know, some more. We'll be doing some more frames and stuff that he thought is really cool. And actually, both of us really liked this frame just from the onset, just because of how different it looks. As you can see, it's basically turned upside down. This would kind of be how a normal drone would be, right? With the arms on the bottom, components above. And to kind of help with this kind of the center of gravity on this drone, he's kind of slung it underneath. And by he, I mean Tommy from Rotor-Riot. And so we wanted to give it a try. And let's hit on some of the components that are on this drone. And first of all, of course, these are so recognizable instantly. Is the Efaw 2407. These are the 2500 kV motors. These are powerhouses. And anybody that's ran these knows that these just have power to spare, and we kind of wanted that with this kind of frame. Deserves it. Now this is a 5-inch frame, but it really is a 5.5. You can run up to a 5.5-inch prop, which is really a great option. Carbon fiber on the frame is really good, and I like the way it's laid out. As far as the camera, we're running a Runcam Eagle Pro 2, and that is one of, in my opinion, the best cameras that are out there. It's a little bit heavy, but this is for freestyle, so it's not as much of an issue, and I just absolutely love that camera, love the lens in it, and so that's what we're running on this. You can't really see the components. Let's turn it upside down. You can maybe see it a little bit better. For the components, let's go first to the ESC. This is a HobbyWing 40 amp. We're going to be running up 5S on this quite a bit, so that will take up to 5S. And then above it is the Hyperlite F4 OSD. That's their new flight controller, and I was able to get one early. And that is a fantastic flight controller. It comes with probably 4 harnesses that plug into different, I believe it's the HobbyWing, the Acon, maybe 3. Is it 3, Jacob? Okay, sorry, Jacob's sitting here next to me. The Acon, and then I believe there's one other that it plugs into. The SpeedX, yeah. And it just, so you don't have to wire anything. You can see this plug. It wires the power. It wires all the signals going to the motors, and that just makes for a really clean build, and it saves you time. On top of that, it does have camera control, so we are able to, a lot of people are like, what's camera control mean? Well, basically from your sticks, you can control the brightness settings, your OSD settings to turn, you know, like when we run OSD off the board, one of the things we've got to do in the beginning is turn off OSD on the camera because it's there, it's not being used. You can do that via your sticks and using your goggles or a screen. And then on top of that, you can change all your settings, and you can go on the web and say the best settings for this, and you can change your settings from the get-go, not have to plug anything on. You throw your goggles on, do it through the sticks. Great option. So, you know, Rugi is the designer, I believe, of this board, and he really did a great job of thinking of everything and putting as much thought into it as he could, and making sure it's laid out really well and doesn't have what you don't need as far as racers. I'm not a racer, but this is made for racers. So I really like the board. I'm going to be doing a separate review on that board and kind of just show the layout. As far as VTX, well, it's probably not a surprise to you guys. We're running the Tramp. I love that VTX. It's been very solid for me and my son and for my customers, so I just keep to it. We're running the AX2 stubby here in the back, and it's really nice and secure in there, double zip tied, and out a little bit. I like them out a little bit because you get a little bit better signal penetration. At least that's what I think, and so that's how we run that standard XM-Plus. And that's really about it. You know, some of the things I really like, you know, I've talked many times about what sets a good frame and a great frame apart to me is, I love good carbon fiber and all that. That's really great. But is that they have places for you to attach and secure your XT60, a place for you to attach and secure your FPV antenna. And so this does, Tommy thought about that in his build. And I'm telling you, I have on some of these builds that don't have these frames that don't come with that stuff, you can spend, you can, in 5 minutes, you can lay it out and it can, throw it out an arm or just do whatever you want, and it'll work. But, as a custom builder, I want stuff to look good. And I'm telling you, there's been times I've spent an hour and a half trying to get all that stuff just kind of ran just right. And when it's laid out the way this is, I absolutely love it. It comes with these really sticky pads for your GoPro and pads for your battery, GoPro and battery. And we put our GoPro on here. We were having a little problems with jello on it. I don't know if we just didn't have it secured down enough. When we flew this, we actually got to go to San Diego. It was my first time going to San Diego, and that's a really beautiful place. Hooked up with one guy that I met over Facebook, and went out there into a park, and me and my son flew, and we wanted to get this tuned for my customer, and so this is going to be going to Singapore. So we flew it, but we got a little jello, you'll see in the video. But and we still had a little bit of tune to do at the end, but no big deal. So let's go to the flight footage, and you can kind of get just an overall view of how this handles.
I just don't get you. You fall asleep when I get up. Those friends you run to, they look at me like they're above. This time don't hesitate, run away. Baby, don't lie and say I'm good for you, too good for you.
All right, there you can see, no big deal, just standard, just straightforward footage. When stuff's going out to a customer, we're not going to be bashing on something. You can see there's already dirt on this thing from landing, but we were able to kind of you can see an idea of the power. We did some tuning after that. Obviously, it's got a little bit of needed a little bit more D. All right, I wanted to show you with the GoPro on. Now this has the option, if you look here, I'll show you after I get this all done. It does have the option for mounting the battery sideways, and I think that's probably a better option for this in a lot of ways. But some people don't like to do that, so I'm going to leave that up to my customer whether he's comfortable with running a battery sideways. But you can see with this, even this is a standard. I believe this is an R-Line 1300. It's kind of tight with the GoPro. I think we ended up putting it kind of up front because especially when we run 5S, and we've got some 1500 5S's that are, that's kind of on the big side, right? 1500 and a 5S. And when you run that, and then you got the GoPro. It's really hard, and I think, you know, you can kind of move one, and the center of gravity is still pretty good. I think what ended up happening is part of the reason we got jello is I think we had the camera a little forward, and then, you know, everything's touching, and it was just a little bit of a stretch. So I think if this was my drone, what we would do is we would mount the battery sideways. Still plenty of clearance, even on this huge 100C 1500 5S. You can see there's plenty of clearance there. So, and then the strap just goes in that way. So, you know, like I said, I'm gonna leave that up to the customer. I don't remember, Jacob. Do you remember if this came with a strap? I don't remember if it did or not.
I think it came with a Rotor-X.
Okay, yeah, it may have came with. Sorry, I've got batteries charging in the background. It may have came with a Rotor Riot. Man, when you're doing a video, that seems like it lasts for like 2 minutes. But anyways, it may have come with the Rotor Riot strap, but these race day quad straps are some of the best, I think, in the industry, and so we put that on there. But all in all, this is super well laid out. We had a lot of fun flying it. Jacob flew it primarily. I flew it a little bit. I've got my own stuff, and I was just it had been a while since I flew, and so I was just enjoying flying. But, you know, this flew great on 5S. We do have a 1000 Panasonic 1000 capacitor, and so that kind of helps with any desync issues, because you know that is a thing. HobbyWing does have some issues with desync on some of them. So my son has a Silky running the same capacitor and even less aggressive motors, and he had some desyncs with it on the HobbyWing 40 amp. This thing with more aggressive motors on the same ESC, we had zero problems with desync. So, you know, some of them do and some of them don't. So, but I would just, as a precaution, I would just put, if you're going to run anything above 4S, I would just put a cap. I don't put caps on things that are just going to run 4S because I've just never had an issue with it. So that's really about it. I think I've hit everything that we, you know, want to talk about. You know, one of the nice things I guess we could hit too is this bottom plate swings and makes access to get to the electronics really easy and really nice. And so, and that can be done really, really quickly. And there's some guys I noticed online, putting some LED boxes in there, and that looked really good. So I think all in all, you know, this is just it's really well laid out frame. It handled really well. We noticed the first day we flew locally here. It's a place we've got to kind of lower the tilt on the camera because there's a lot of trees and it's a slow course. And we were both comfortable flying it in that area, and that's kind of shows how really well this was locked in from the get-go. We're running 3.3 on this now, as far as, and we have been from the beginning as far as Betaflight 3.3. I think we're running 8K, and dynamic filtering, PT1, and I think I've got 2 of the filters turned off. But we were surprised at how it was locked in. You know, that's one of those places when you're going around trees and turning in really quick, you notice that kind of washout in a turn, you know, this kind of thing where they kind of wash out a lot, and this did not have that. And I think part of that is just this really centralized center of gravity, and I think with a side mounted battery, I think it would even help it more. So that is the Ummagawd remix, and I'm just so happy that we got a chance to build this, and I know Peter in Singapore is going to enjoy flying it, and that's really about it. Guys, I appreciate you hanging with me, man. It has been a long time since I've been posting videos, but I appreciate the community and that you guys just hanging out there, and we're still kind of communicating back and forth. You can check out my website at www.xframesfpv.com. That's www.xframesfpv.com, and click on the custom build section, and you can kind of see some of my custom builds. And if you got something you want built that you've got parts for, I can do that. And then obviously I spec stuff out. So again, appreciate you, and I hope you get some time to fly.